10 minutes into the hour. So sorry, people, if I kept you waiting on everything. It took me a long time to get Substack to go live for whatever reason, but how you doing? Good to see you. We are live on Odyssey, on Substack, on X, and on YouTube. Okay. If you're watching on X, go ahead and get used to trotting on over to Substack or somewhere else, because X will be gone in a couple of days. Very sad, not very sad. I don't know, man. I just can't do it. I'm enjoying Odyssey. Still having an issue with my playbacks not really showing up. Poppy is on Odyssey. What's up? So silly. We got AOD on Odyssey. What's up? Poppy's on Odyssey. AOD's on Odyssey. What's up? Where's William? What William are you talking about? You're talking about William that used to be on Call-In? Is that the William you're talking about? Denver's on Substack. What's up, Denver? How you doing? All right. Congratulations to you guys that are watching on alternative platforms. I appreciate you. Thank you for doing that. And everybody's up in the YouTube chat. Yeah, I haven't seen William in a long time. I don't know. Without going into it, I think he ruffled some feathers, and maybe his feathers were ruffled. I don't know. What happened to Colin? That's what I want to know. Right? Colin was bought by Rumble. Did Colin ever turn into anything? Like, does Rumble have like a Colin feature? Am I missing it? Did I miss it? I kept looking for it. I was like, well, where's the Rumble bought Colin just to what? Just to squash him? I think they did. I think Rumble was like, this is a great idea, and these people are our competition, and we want to keep them out of the loop. And I miss Colin. I think Colin was actually a pretty cool app, pretty cool service, and probably wasn't owned by. Yeah, I'd say so. Denver, they bought it just to shut it down. I can't see the chats on frickin' Substack. It's annoying. I'm trying to get the chats to show up on the web browser on Substack, and I can't see it. Yeah, it's too bad. And they probably were not. Oh, the William in the chat on Rockfin. Oh, yeah. And we're not on Rockfin anymore. I got it. Yeah, they probably were not owned by the bad people, which is why they got bought by the bad people. Colin was cool. Colin was great. I actually had a lot of people call in to the show. And I really enjoyed like talking to people at the end of the show. That was a great feature. I can see how maybe they don't like that because it's a little uncontrollable. It's a little outside of the right. They can control, how many views are showing up because they can control the chats and the, who's saying what in the chats. That doesn't mean that we can't have like a live call-in feature. We can. And I wouldn't be uninterested in that and doing something like that. But I think it's harder to control people like calling in and talking to each other. They don't want that. Yeah, and they had interesting topics, some pretty cool shows over there. All right. Well, it's Friday. We made it. We made it through the week. Almost didn't think it wasn't that bad. It started out like I don't know. The week seemed to start out on kind of a high point, and I thought, and I don't know. No, it was fine. Actually, the week was great. Let me just reframe the whole thing. This week was bitching, and this weekend is going to be even more bitching. Okay, that's what's happening. I'm going to see some music tonight, tomorrow night. Hopefully go hang out with some people. Do weekend stuff. It's really warm and beautiful here in LA. There's supposed to be a big rainstorm next week, but right now it's like super warm and nice. I think my voice is really loud, so I don't like to impose my voice on other people. Anyways, where are we at? What are we doing? This is from Mexico. They're getting the floods. Can't really see. Can't really see what's happening on Substack. I'm sorry about that. It's just a different view, I guess. If you're wondering what's going on, it sounds like a bunch of water. That's what it is. A bunch of water. No, you guys couldn't even see that. There you go. It was grand. Schulte, all right. You had a good week? All right. So for all the people that had a good week, excellent. I had a great week. I don't know why I feel a little bit like, whew, like it was a great week. Just, pushed it over the edge to greatness. That's what happened. It was pretty good. All right. Mexico is getting their own little climate change moment. I've been getting into some old school Twitter arguments lately. I kind of like it, kind of miss it. It's been a while since I actually like jumped in the chats and started like throwing blows with people. I don't know. Sometimes it can be fun and hopefully educational. Let's see if this is new news. This is from 2 days ago. I think this is the one I read already 2 days ago. 1 day ago. Priscilla has downgraded to a tropical storm, but she's, bringing plenty of damage. It's begun weakening in the Pacific Ocean, still forecast to bring heavy rainfall and high surf conditions. Oh, Kate, thanks for the you were the one that hit me up on Ko-Fi yesterday, so thank you for that. Putin wants to work with Melania. Is that a thing? Didn't see that one. On what? Okay. On the forecast track, the center of Priscilla is expected to move parallel to, but offshore the coast of Baja California through Thursday, October 9th. I wonder if this is part of. We're supposed to get a big rainstorm next week. I wonder if that's due. To Priscilla or something else. I would imagine it would be Priscilla. Yeah. Here we go. Southern California is experiencing a weather system influenced by Tropical Storm Priscilla, bringing increased cloudiness, mugginess, chance of thunderstorms, particularly in the mountainous regions as of Friday, October 10th. Storm is expected to deliver light to moderate rainfall with heavy rain and potential flash flooding in San Bernardino, Riverside, and San Diego County mountains. Oil should be. Oh yeah, they're suppressing oil. Yeah. Well, what's messed up? Oh, now I can see your chats. Cool. Oil should be $150 right now. Here's the proof that they're suppressing it. What is it trading at right now? Like 60? I saw it was trading at like 60 or 70, which is low, which is really low. And you know what's messed up? You know what sucks about that is that, it's just like everything else, right? The price of things go up, but when the price of something goes down, it never goes back down with the price. It just stays. So they're just like, oh man, this is when they're raking in the dough, right? Like gas is literally like $5 a gallon in Southern California, like thereabouts, average, about $5 a gallon, but it's trading at $60 a barrel, which means that it should actually be around $2 a gallon or $3 a gallon, historically. But when prices go up, they just never come back down. They go up because they're like, oh man, the price of oil is, it's whatever, $100 a barrel or something right now. Whoa. This is the time when they're just fleecing everybody. But that they do that with everything else. I would say, that 340, Wayne. Okay. Yeah, it's generally cheaper everywhere else in the country, except for the two places I know that are more expensive than California generally is like Chicago and like Seattle, like Washington, and all up along the I-5, the Pacific coast. It can be more expensive. Yeah, but Right. Sure. That makes sense. Yeah, the price difference is kind of due to taxes, but I also think that they just charge more because they can get it. Like people, it's so weird to me. People don't care. Some people like have money and they just don't care about the price of gas. It is so weird. There are a lot of places that just absolutely gouge the shit out of people for whatever they can charge for gas prices. And I see people pull their cars up and go, there are stations right now, I'm positive, that charge like $7 a gallon for gas. And if you drive by that station, there'll be people pulled in there like, oh, I'm getting me some $7 gas because it's better or something. I'm like, are you a numbskull? It's all the same. Like it's the same. Just drive 2 blocks down the street and it's $2 less a gallon. But I mean, some people just don't care. So they will charge whatever they can get for it. And I think that they generally just try to keep the prices, up if they can. There's 2 gas stations in downtown LA that charge, and I'm sure, in fact, I'm pretty positive that it's some kind of like kickback with the city. There's something weird going on there, but they charge like $9 a gallon or something just stupid. But they're right next to all these like city where they store like city trucks and cars that work for the city. And like I think they go fill up at these ultra expensive things, and charge it off. They can charge the city for it, right? There's like a kickback thing. They can just charge us, the gas. No, the city's paying for the gas, and it's $9 a gallon, and right, and so they probably get a kickback from these gas stations for like, yeah, bring all your cars in here and fill them up, right? That's the thing that it goes on in my mind. Very conspiratorial. Very conspiratorial. Yeah, but even at $9, I'm telling you right now, if you drive past the $9 a gallon gas stations, there are people that just like doopy goop boop. Oh, $9, okay, sounds good. I'm like, dude, dude, you can literally drive 2 blocks down the street and not just get absolutely reamed, but you're gonna like of your own free will pull into a gas station and pay $9 a gallon. Like I'm like, it's some kind of weird mechanism. Like people out here really have that like, well, if it's more expensive, it means like I'm cool, or it's better, or look at me paying. Like there's some weird thing that people get off on like overpaying for shit out here. Like it's such a Southern California thing, especially LA. And I'm just like, you are dumb. You are just dumb. You are an absolute moron for pulling up to a $9 a gallon. Like, I don't understand why these stations aren't out of business, or $7 gallon stations. Why aren't you out of business? Why aren't people just like, hell no, never? Like, you guys are out. You're out of business. I don't know. The Veblen effect. I don't know what that is. Never heard of it. Trump says he wants to. This is horrible. And I was in a debate with a friend of mine today. Again, I've tried to steer clear of political debates for a really long time. Yeah, you're right. Creative, right? Yep. They can't let the price of gas get that low. They have to keep it at some kind of level. The thing is that the idea that they're trying to keep it low on purpose, I think, is absolutely correct, because like inflation is out of control. The economy is obviously tanking. Shit is, coming apart at the seams. If they let gas go up a couple of dollars a gallon, like across the country, it would absolutely things would just, it would just be an instant collapse. Like if people were forced to pay $2 or $3 more a gallon, like nationwide, it would be insta collapse. Because there are a lot of people out there like, oh, just barely, like, oh my God, barely hanging on. Trump said, anyways, I was debating with somebody over, AOC and Bernie are like, well, they're going to double the price of the ACA, formerly known as Obamacare. Double or triple the price of the ACA. I'm like, and I don't know, my friend was posting it as if like, oh, these people, like, look at them fighting for your justice. I was like, dude, this is they've gone totally backwards. They were talking about Medicare for all a couple of years ago, and now they're talking about hope we don't have to double your price for ACA now, which they will. They absolutely will, because Trump is saying they will, and they will. And I don't know. I was trying to explain to her that AOC and Bernie are freaking frauds, and just they don't care. They don't care, and they're not going to fight for you. And I was trying to do it in a nice way. But it's really hard. Some people just really believe like, oh, golly gee, if we just get those Democrats back in here, then the good people will be in charge. And like, dude, no, they're not. They're not fighting for you. I just don't. It's really hard to have that discussion with people, especially when Trump's in office and everybody's like, see, look what you did. Like helping Trump get in. No, no, that's not what happened. That's not what happened. In fact, I would say that the AOC Bernie contingent is the reason why Trump is in office, because they're so politically inept. They are so unable to inspire anything in people that they actually, right? Like, look at what was happening during the last Biden administration. People were so demoralized. People were so like, oh my God, what's going on? Oh my God, you're going to try and ram this like dementia patient as president down our throats, and that he's the best man for the job, and we don't get to have a primary. We don't get to primary this fool, and now you're going to ram Kamala down our throat. Like, people were so demoralized. And yet people are still out there like, golly gee willikers, if you just would vote Democrat, everything would be okay. It's golly. Like, it's just too nuanced of a conversation to have with people, especially, on social media. It's hard. It's really hard to have that nuanced conversation with people, to get them to understand, like, hey, they're both on the same team. Hey, they don't really care about you. Hey, they make it seem like they care, and you just, tasty words, delicious words. That part is demoralizing. that part is absolutely depression inducing. You Democrats don't care about you, y'all. They don't. So that puts people in a position of like, what do we do? Well, we gotta like insist on better people, or do something different, or get out in the street, or organize, or push people to do something in a certain way. Speaking of which, I gotta like, Gavin Newsom right now is trying to push some bullshit. What is it? What is the thing he's trying to push? There's some amendment going through right now that's horrible. It's about zoning. It's a zoning thing, but like, Gavin Newsom, Democrat, is trying to push some bullshit on people, and people are still like, Gavin is my friend because he doesn't like Trump. He is not your friend. He's not your friend. I don't know. That's why I stayed out of political debates a long time ago, because it's just like too much nuance for people. It's just too hard for them to like get their heads around. It's just too. They're operating on too much of a surface level. And it's hard to get people to go like, hey, hey. But Trump is saying we're only going to cut Democrat programs. What does that even mean? So we're cutting some very popular Democrat programs that aren't popular with Republicans. This is a lie. It's a lie. It's a flat out lie. Medicare, Social Security, uber popular with like everybody in the country, like every single person in the country, unless you're mega rich and you don't give a shit. I'm telling you, this is bad for the Trump administration to try and do, and then trying to gaslight people and say like they're Democrat programs. Only Democrats like these, and Republicans, they don't like them. And I'm sure there'll be plenty of like, not so intelligent Republican people out there going like, yeah, we don't. Oh wait, I don't get Social Security anymore. What? But this stuff is about to happen to people, and it's going to get even worse, right? People were, forced to buy into this Obamacare thing, and now people are on this like horrible healthcare system that's only been getting worse over the years. It's just every year worse, 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 worse. And now the prices for it a month are going to double or triple. And people are going to be like, "Oh man. Oh gosh." Dude.
And we'll be making cuts that will be permanent. And we're only going to cut Democrat programs. I hate to tell you. I guess that makes sense. But we're only cutting Democrat programs. But we're going to start that. And we have Russell can talk to you about it if he wants to. But we'll be cutting some very
What does that mean?
popular Democrat programs that aren't popular with Republicans, frankly, because that's the way it works. They want.
Is he talking about food stamps?
So we'll give them a little taste of their own medicine. And we'll be making cuts that will be permanent.
Oh God. Is he talking about, what is he talking about? Social Security? That's horrible. That's horrific. Reflect the Sun says strategic petroleum reserve was at 7. Yeah, Biden drained it. Well, he was trying to keep things under control. Yeah. He did drain it. You're right. He drained it trying to keep prices down, trying to keep inflation from just spiraling like completely out of control. I don't know if people remember how kind of forlorn and bad things were last couple of years of the Biden administration. And I don't think that voting for them would have, yes, we would have not gotten the Trump craziness, but like they pretty much all but handed everything to Trump. They were like, "Hey, we're so out of control. Here you go, Trump. You barely have to try. Here, it's just a walk off. We're going to load the bases and walk you home. How about that, Trump?" To use a baseball analogy, we're just going to absolutely, Bill Buckner our way into the election, and you can just take this one. That's what they did. So, like, how are they your friends? How are they your friends? Yeah, Wayne. No, I did. I did too. I stopped paying for, and I will never go back. The ACA thing, the Obamacare thing, I will never. Nope. Yeah, the price kept going up every year, and I was like, I can't even use it because the deductible is like so high, and I don't have any money. I'm like working day and night to barely cover this premium every month. I don't have the money or time to go to the doctor. Like, to on top of that, pay for the premium. And then what, if something's wrong or, the time and the money, just, I got it just, it was ridiculous. ACA you like? Okay, that's good. I mean, some people report good things about it. Trump So Trump took away the penalties if you didn't sign up for it, which is actually cool. That actually was a decent thing to do because it was really harsh. They were like, you must. I mean, think about that. Think about how dastardly that is. It's kind of like forcing, it's like forcing you to pay for car insurance. And I guess I understand the reason for that. That makes sense to me. But forcing you to pay for health insurance doesn't make any sense, especially when it's so difficult to get, even when you're paying for it. And I don't understand. I see people with good jobs and they have like health insurance through their jobs. And I'm like, it's so difficult, to use even for you, like, and you're paying into this, through your job or whatever. Like, it's like, oh God. You only have to cover the big things. Isn't that what insurance is for though, Poppy? I'm just, just curious. Isn't that what insurance is for? Or is that you being funny? Are you being funny? Because that's funny. I got this health insurance, and it's only when it's really bad and really expensive do I have to pay for it. Well, that's one of the things I was telling my friend. I was like, we're talking, we're talking about trying to get Medicare for all. We've been talking about it for a long time. Democrats had a straight up majority everywhere when they were passing the ACA, and they could have forced in a public option. They did not. They did not, because their very wealthy donors said, don't do that, because this is a corporate friendly, the ACA is a corporate friendly program. It helps the insurers. It does not help you. It fleeces you to the benefit of the insurers and the medical system or whatever. Creative, you saw did you see there was a big tank in the market? Big deductible, lower premiums. Oh, I see. So I won't go bankrupt for, say, a heart attack. Well, that's good. Kaiser Union's about to go on strike in CA. I'm telling you, man, it is such a racket. It is such a racket. Such a racket. There was a big dump in the market today. Big dump. And people were saying it was because of ooh, dang. Woo. Blimey. Holy shnikes. It went down even more. Yeah, there was a fat dump today. Well, I'm looking at the NASDAQ. Or the S&P. Fat dump, like 200 points almost. Huge. And they were saying it's because Trump tweeted something about more tariffs on China. Like, okay, maybe that's it. You want to tell me when these tweets are going to happen? ACA stole from you and the USA to gene modify the planet, essentially. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know if it's Black Friday, but it's a pretty bad. It's a pretty big dump today. Pretty big dump, like for real. If it continues like Monday, I would, if it continues like Monday through Tuesday, well, there probably will be like Monday will spike up, but I mean, if it kind of continues to slag down next week, then yeah, but it was a pretty meaty drop, Poppy. If you look at the chart, it's a pretty meaty drop. Um, for one day, that's a 1 day drop is pretty meaty. If it continues through the next week, then then people might start talking about it. But we'll see. It's been only up for a long time. I mean, yeah, there was a dump at the beginning of the year from Trump's tariff shit. Gold and silver. Crypto dumped too, really hard. Crypto dumped really hard. Almost everything but Binance. My God, people, nobody ever says the word Binance. Like Binance is killing it. If you want a crypto to bet on Binance. Binance is killing it. No financial advice here, though, of course. It only takes 2% a day to crash in a month or two. Yeah. Well, I would say if it keeps sliding through the next week, then probably people will start, people might start getting a little bit hot under the collar, but I don't know. But it's really been pretty steadily rising lately. So who knows? Your guess is as good as mine. The new Nobel Prize was issued to somebody who is supporting U.S. military intervention in. I mean it's all time highs, Poppy. You're right. It hit all time highs yesterday. Did it or almost all time highs yesterday? It's right at the top. It is right at the top. Absolutely right at the top. About 6,800. It's don't think it's gotten past that. Around there. Pretty close to 6,800. But if it hits 65 and goes down, down, then you might have people some eyebrows. You might have some eyebrows. Historically, the market always crashes when it's at its all-time highs. So I don't know. I don't know what that means, but when I hear stuff like that, I'm like, okay, of course. But it's been at its all-time highs for the last 6 months, so it just keeps on going up. It's been at its all-time highs for the last 2 years or so, or more. So I don't know. I don't know what that means. Yes, we're talking about Nobel Prize. The Nobel Prize was awarded to this lady, Maria Corina Machado. She so she has called for U.S. military intervention in Venezuela, called for sanctions to be imposed on Venezuela, expressed support for Zionist genocide in Gaza, sought backing from mass murderer Netanyahu for a military intervention in Venezuela, celebrated the U.S. extrajudicial executions of Venezuelans on boats. Sounds about right. Um, Trump is pissed about being passed up. Yeah, I'm sure he is. It's a little bit. That's a hard one. But why this lady? I don't know why she has a zebra behind her. I don't know. I don't know the context of what you're saying, Daryl. What do you mean? I'm not really sure. What's a federal penalty but not a state penalty? What is it? Oh, are you talking about the tax? Oh, are you talking about ACA? Yeah, the federal penalty. You're right, and I think California might have a penalty for not having your. I think California does have a penalty. You're right. I was like trying to. Took me a second. Well, and you're happy if you bought some shorts today, Poppy. If you shorted the market today, you're super happy. Super happy. Anyways, this lady got a Nobel Peace Prize. So did Obama. You know, warmonger, war criminal. Obama got a Peace Prize. For some reason, Kissinger got a Peace Prize. He also is a war criminal. So you're in good company. You know what I mean? Uh, Adam says the Nobel Peace Prize is not awarded to those who further peace. It is awarded to those who further imperialism with some form of peaceful aesthetic that obfuscates imperialism. Yep. Who said so? Beauty and the Boomer had a good comment about. um, where is it? I don't know where it is. Somewhere. Somewhere in here. Oh, maybe it's no. Sorry for my screwing around here. Maybe it's here. No. Oh, Beauty and the Boomer was saying that it was the founder of the Nobel Prize uh, invented the prize to like what's the word for it? Uh, to do some PR for his own. He was somebody who dealt in like guns and bombs and ammunition and stuff. So um so he invented the Nobel Peace Prize in order to burnish his credentials, I guess, to make himself look like a good person when he was responsible for so much death, right? Where is this comment? I would like to find it. Hold on. I'm gonna find it. Oh, here it is. The Nobel Prize wasn't born from pure altruism. It was a PR move after a newspaper called Alfred Nobel the Merchant of Death for getting rich off dynamite and weapons. He rewrote his will. Sorry, can't see that. He rewrote his will to fund prizes for peace, science, and literature. It was legacy laundering before PR even existed. Oh, I wasn't calling it Black Friday. I didn't call it that. I was actually kind of being a little facetious by saying that, because Creative has said there's going to be a big market crash on Friday earlier this week. So there wasn't like a crash, but there was a big downturn. And so I jokingly was calling it Black Friday. It was a joke. October is generally not friendly to markets. You're right. Yeah, no, I wasn't saying that. I don't think it was just a big down move. And they were saying that it was Trump's fault for tweeting something about China, which happens all the time now, right? So he will take a position on tariffs, and then the markets will crash, and then the next day he'll reverse the position, and the markets will go all the way to the top. So it's like all the time. Yeah, there is a lot of volatility. Absolutely, a lot of volatility. No, I know you're talking to Reflect the Sun. I've just I hope you didn't think that I meant that I was saying it was Black Friday. That's all. But that volatility is a hallmark of the Trump era stock market. Trump could not guarantee that Israel won't start bombing Gaza again. Oh my God. So there's supposedly a ceasefire. But he's like, maybe they won't stop bombing.
Looking ahead, what guarantees Hamas disarms and that Israel doesn't resume bombing once the hostages are released?
The first thing we're doing is getting our hostages back, okay? And that's what people wanted more than anything else. They wanted these hostages back that have lived in hell like nobody has ever even dreamt possible. And after that, we'll see. But they've agreed to things, and I think it's going to move along pretty well.
Looking ahead, what guarantees Hamas...
Okay. And yeah, there was a video going around from yesterday. Excuse me. And I think this is recent. Yeah, that's from yesterday. Israeli tanks bomb Gazan civilians live on camera despite Trump's announcement of a ceasefire.
منطقة ود نعم الآن على ما يبدو قذيفة نعم قذيفة الآن على الهواء مباشرة.
نرجو أن تتوقفوا الحذر ونذكر بأن المكتب الإعلامي الحكومي
هذه قذيفة مباشرة من الآلية الإسرائيلية.
نذكر أشرف بأن المكتب الإعلامي الحكومي طلب من المواطنين عدم التوجه نحو شارعي أو من خلال شارعي الرشيد وصلاح الدين نحو مدينة غزة.
That's wild. It's a good question, Denver. How many Palestinians have been imprisoned or disappeared or just straight up unalived, if I might use that word? No, I mean, Poppy, people are having a really hard time. I see a lot of traders having a hard time in the Trump stock market because it's good. It can be good, right? If you're, but the volatility is very volatile. So it's like the swings are pretty wild. And so there's a lot of people that get caught flat-footed when they're trading. It's very easy to have a bad day. Very easy. And I see a lot of, because I follow a lot of traders on YouTube, I see a lot of people going, oh my God, today, let me tell you about the worst day ever. There's a lot of those videos. I'm like, oh shit. Yeah, people are struggling. So it's rough. It's choppy waters out there. I'm sorry, AOD. You don't like looking at Trump? How about some let's see. What else is next? All right, a couple things to read. Interesting. We're at 1:00, and so it's almost the end of the show. Thanks, guys, for tuning in, watching, and doing all that you do in support of the show. It seems more like gambling than ever. Well, I mean, I think you just have to be. There's always a gambling aspect, I think, to trading for sure. I mean, I feel like that's undeniable. But I think that one needs to just be like very disciplined and not, too. Right? Be really, be cautious. I've also seen people making a lot of money too. Having self-control is a good thing. So there's a gambling mentality, and then there's a trading fundamental mentality. And I think if you're very like disciplined and understanding trading fundamentals, I think you can be okay. But I don't know. I see lots of people just absolutely raking in the dough. So I mean, I think like there's people who understand what it needs to be done. So I don't know. Caitlin Johnson, a major promoter of digital IDs, is Oracle co-founder Larry Ellison, a surveillance proponent and virulent Zionist who has poured unprecedented amounts of personal wealth into the IDF. Ellison's family is in the process of shoring up control over TikTok, Paramount, and Warner Brothers Discovery, giving them control over legacy media outlets like CNN and CBS. Ellison has been in a neck-and-neck race with Elon Musk this month for the title of the wealthiest person on Earth. Capitalism elevates the worst among us. The ones who will claw their way to the top under the system are the most ruthless and sociopathic members of our society who are willing to do whatever it takes to get ahead. Then they use all their power to advance their own interests and manifest their own vision of how they think the world ought to be, which is always going to be horrible and detrimental to our species because they are horrible people. When you create a system where sociopathy is rewarded with wealth and where wealth equals power, you're naturally going to find yourself being ruled by sociopaths. The sociopaths won't stop being in charge until we dismantle the system which turns them into royalty. Indeed. Yeah, it's just more control. Guys, if you want to support the show, you know how to do it. There are a bunch of links in the description box. All the usual suspects are there. PayPal, Venmo, Cash App, Zelle, Ko-Fi, Buy Me a Coffee, etc. Going south, what's up? Oh yeah, you heard about the guy and the guy that got arrested supposedly for the Palisades fire. I don't know. That's a weird story. You used to like money and now you hate it. Okay, that's interesting. What made you hate it, Wayne? Yeah, the data though is the power part, Denver, I think. What made you hate money? Is it just the grind of it, the grind of getting it and having to have it? I mean, that part of it, I don't, I don't enjoy that part. Like, for sure, things are easier when you have money, right? Things are not as stressful. It can really wear you down though, right? Thinking about it all the time. The Parkett method of investing. S&P 500 total return 235% over the last 10 years. Sure. And I mean, I think the return on, if you would have owned Bitcoin over the last 10 years, your return would have been way more than that. Like way more. So, it depends on where you park it. But yeah, S&P 500, you could just park it. What was it? Somebody was explaining something to me the other day about, I forget what it's called. What is it called? Darn it, I can't remember. I have to go back and there's a system by which you can buy certain stocks, and if they're underperforming, you just hold the stocks and get the dividend payout, and the dividend payout is like 4 or 5% a year. But if they're performing well, then you just cash out the stocks and collect whatever percentage you made on them. So it's like win-win, right? The only way you lose is if you can't. Like it's kind of a win-win. I'm not explaining it correctly, but something like that. I'll have to go back and do a little research. Yeah, you're right about that, Poppy. Well, and the volatility on crypto is really large, right? Like very, very large volatility. But over the last 10 years, way outperformed the S&P, like way. Sure. Diversifying is a thing. Yep. Absolutely. What am I looking at here? Capitalism pretends to grieve over the violence we can see, while its real weapon is the slow grind of rent, debt, hunger, and despair. Is that what you're talking about, Wayne? One sudden act of violence shocks the world, but the mass suffering built into the system, that's written off as the way things are. And got to read this one just because there's a viral video of a guy saying he's no longer scared of climate change because he's more scared of the fascism right before him. This is why environmentalism without class struggle is simply gardening. If we can't solve political and social issues like the rise of fascism and tech oligarchs, climate collapse is a certainty. I friggin' agree with this. I don't agree with everything that this particular channel, puts out there, but I'm a fan of this statement. I don't know how you do anything for the climate if you can't like organize on a basic level around equity, right? Or around a more just society, or just being more just and compassionate, period, as humans. Which is why climate change might be just an extension of our own inability to control ourselves. And it is. It is. Say what? Austria and Germany shut down their last generation climate orgs because they thought the opposition party was a bigger threat than climate collapse. What opposition party? Their opposite. I'm having a hard time understanding the context, but like, I think I know what you're saying. Is the opposition party like right wing? Is that what you're saying? The AFD. Yes. Okay. Got it. So they're saying is it like we have to shut down the Green Party because we're worried about Trump? Is that kind of the same equation? We can't have the Green Party mucking things up for the Democrats. Is that kind of what you're saying? I mean, I could see that. I could see something like that. Just the climate activist orgs. A lot of Volkova. I don't know who that is. Don't even know. Sorry, I'm a little lost here. Yeah, I mean, I individual members being obsessed with banning a Democratic Party they don't like. Yeah. Yeah. Well, how convenient, right? They're shutting down the climate activists because of the threat of fascists. That's like, okay. Excuse me while I express a little bit of fascism in the name of confronting fascism. I mean, it sounds like it's what's going on here. Exactly what's going on here. You better you better do the right thing or we're going to have to put you out of business, man. Don't you know there's fascism afoot? Okay. It's yeah. What happened to people's ability to think? You know, in the way back in the day, and I'm not saying that anything's better or worse now. I mean, it seems like things are worse, but also if you go back through history, you could also see like, well, there was some really wild stuff going on, back in the day too, right? Like, and there's a lot of traction in trying to tell you that it's worse. It's the worst it's ever been. Sure. But I think back in the day, people could see the logic of like, well, rights are something that everybody has, right? The right to exist, speak, be, whatever. And that if you take away, the logic of if you take away this person's rights, well, then somebody will take away your rights. It was a very like kind of a simply logical idea. Even though it wasn't practiced, obviously there were problems. The funny thing is that there was free speech for lots of people, unless you were black or Latino, like back in the day, right? There was free speech for everybody. There was the Second Amendment was for everybody until the Black Panthers showed up with shotguns on the Capitol steps in Sacramento, and they were like, "Oh, well, nah, there's no. I'm sorry, not for you guys, right?" So, but there's logic to the idea that if you take away this person's rights, that just makes it easier for your rights to be taken away, right? Okay, guys. Well, it's been fun. It has been a Friday, and I have got to wrap up this show. Thank you for hanging out with me. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks everybody for being so cool about going to alternative platforms to watch the show. Lots of people on Odyssey today. Lots of people on Substack today. Thanks for watching me on Substack and Odyssey. Thanks for watching me on X. If you're watching me on X, discouraging watching me on X only because I'm not going to be there for too much longer. So might be a good time to find your way to another platform, right? I will be on X, like interacting. I'm just not going to be streaming to X. I'm not leaving X my account. I'll be, doing all the regular things. I'll be retweeting. I'll be talking to people. I'll be posting things. I'll be doing all the stuff on X. I'm just not paying for X anymore. So they won't let me stream because I'm not paying for X. So therefore, if you want to watch the stream and you're used to watching the stream on X, just come on over to Substack or to Odyssey or something, or YouTube. Okay. All right. Thanks, guys. I appreciate you. You're the best. I'll see you on Monday. And as always, beware the bear.